Yesterday didn't work out as everyone already saw. Got a phone call, but I just wanted to share some thoughts about the recent events that everyone on the internet and their dog has been talking about, um, particularly the assassination of Charlie. Um, this isn't about me, so don't get me wrong on this. I'm not trying to make this about myself, but at first, I just want to say that it did hit very close to home to me when that happened. Um, I went to Northern Arizona University, and while attending, met Charlie back in the day, back when things were much smaller. Um, and his phone number's in my contacts. Still, I don't think that one works anymore. But anyway, it was genuinely traumatizing for me to see that happen afresh in front of everybody in Orem, another one of my stomping grounds. Um, so I, along with much of the world, was very affected by that. But I do want to share something important. Um, I have a very small audience. I've always had a very small audience. Um, but I know that every individual interacts with, a lot of people. And so maybe if any of you hear me out and perhaps any of the things I say influence the way that you go about things for the better, it's worth it for me to spend some time. One thing I want to share is whenever things like this happen, there's two sides predominantly. There's multiple perspectives, but usually right versus left is the angle that we are guided by our media to look at these issues with. The right wing want to avenge the blood of someone that has made a big difference for that movement and look toward the suspects that further their agenda. Namely, in this situation, transgenderism has been brought up. And given recent events like that shooting that happened in that church, it's very easy to just buy into those narratives. Conversely, there's been information that the individual was a groyper. They were on the right wing, the far right wing, and anyone who's on the left clings to that information, grabs that information, and that is the narrative, full stop, period. You guys are wrong, we're right. Or, you guys are evil, we're not. Our agenda is correct, yours isn't. My team is better, yours is the losing team. I just urge everyone to look closer and not to look right and left, but to realize that the media wants this constant battle to be underway because it distracts us from what's actually going on, which it's not right versus left that we should be focused on. It's not the culture wars of transgenderism and the traditional family or whatever it is. Those things are important to people, and I'm not downplaying that importance. But there are people with a lot of money and a lot of influence and power that directly benefit from things like this. The media, their job is to stoke emotional motivation to engage with their content so that they can get ad revenue, so that they can further the causes of their donors, whether that be big oil, whether that be the LGBTQ movement, whatever it is, they want us to constantly be hating one another. They want us to constantly be seeing through that lens. And again, these individuals don't have our best interest in mind. We have a lot more in common with one another across the political aisle than we do have differences. But that's not what algorithms and the media would like for you to believe. They want us to, constantly demonize. But when you see that happening, when you see the news media saying, oh, the bullet casings had pro-trans inscriptions on them, and then that story gets redacted, but then people cling to it. Or when you see that, oh no, it said, anti-fascist sentiments or whatever it is, it's a mixed bag for a reason. There's no accident that the individual involved was from the most conservative state in the country, and not only that, was born in an LDS home and raised therein, but also is allegedly dating a transgender individual. It's the juxtaposition there is intentional, and that is to keep fodder well stacked on both sides of the aisle so that we will sit there and fight. Okay? Charlie Kirk was killed because he was figuring it out. Or rather, not even just figuring it out, but starting to feel free enough to voice that which is obvious. And there are foreign powers that rely on individuals like him to continue to frame their doings as just or their cause as just. And when an individual who has been doing so for so long begins to invert that narrative and start asking questions openly, publicly, critical ones, it means nothing to them whether or not Charlie or whomever is a good person. The only thing that matters is he helping us? Is he doing what we want? And in this case, it's quite obvious that he was taking an America First stance on some things that he previously had been a little bit more in the gray area about. That's why he's dead. They don't want you to know that. But a lot of people do. So, please, once again, the thing that the billionaire class or, those who run and the banks, etc., fear the most is that we stop hating each other. My show Mormon Talk, that was the main battlefield between not the main battlefield, at large, but the focus of the show was this dynamic between LDS versus ex-LDS primarily. And what it was an opportunity for everybody to see how those dynamics play out, but hopefully more lightheartedly. One of the remarkable effects of that show is a lot of individuals who were ex-members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints would message me and say, you know what? I used to be so hateful, but for some reason, and I can't even tell you why, watching your show changed that for me. And it helped people process things and move forward without hating or throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But they realize rather you can reach back into the past and it's not all bad. There's a lot of good. That good can be found, in everybody. That good can be found if you look for it. And for some weird reason that I've never been able to articulate, that was what the effect was on people. And so you guys, whomever watched it and maybe participated in that dynamic, are a very uniquely equipped people to understand what I'm saying. We can disagree with LDS versus ex-LDS, atheism versus theism, Republican, Democrat, right, left. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat, but there's good to be found in both of those constellations of beliefs. But even if it's difficult for me to find that good in the ideology or whatever, people are generally good. Okay? Don't fall for the hate in your personal lives and even on the internet. Don't contribute to it. Wake up to the reality. We're all on the same team, ultimately. And realizing that is the ruling class's greatest fear. So, just some thoughts that you've probably heard already a bazillion times, just told a little bit less articulately. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and till we meet again.